Welcome, enthusiasts! Today we will be taking a journey back in time to the land of the pharaohs, where we unravel the mysteries of cannabis in ancient Egypt. From the bustling trade routes of the Red Sea to the overland connections with Asia and Nubia, we'll explore how cannabis traveled to Egypt, enriching its medical, industrial, and cultural landscape. Through archaeological evidence and pollen analysis, we'll reveal how cannabis was woven into daily life of the ancient Egyptian people thousands of years ago. From the grand city of Thebes to the workers' village of Deir el-Medina, cannabis pollen found in these sites tells a story of its widespread use. But before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Also, please remember that this is an educational video, and therefore all information provided is for informational purposes only. Now join us as we uncover the fascinating journey of cannabis in ancient Egypt, exploring its medical, spiritual, and practical roles in one of history's most intriguing civilizations. Cannabis, known as Shemshemet in ancient Egypt, likely arrived through a combination of trade, cultural exchanges, and migrations. While the precise routes and timelines are not definitively documented, several plausible pathways and timeframes can be inferred from historical and archaeological evidence. Today, there are several popular theories on how cannabis arrived in Egypt, most of which suggest it came through trade or migration. Let's begin by discussing the extensive trade routes along the Red Sea, connecting Egypt with the Arabian Peninsula and East Africa, trading with partners around the Red Sea. As early as the Old Kingdom period, which dates back to approximately 2686–2181 BCE. These maritime connections facilitated the exchange of various goods, including plants and herbs, making it likely that cannabis was introduced through these routes. This is very important because most trade expeditions during this time were state-sponsored and required significant resources and organization, which indicates just how important these networks were to the ancient Egyptian economy and culture. Another theory points to overland trade with Asia. Indigenous to Central Asia, particularly the regions around modern-day Kazakhstan and China, cannabis could have traveled to Egypt through trade routes passing through the Levant and Mesopotamia. Even before the prominence of the Silk Road, early trade routes connected cultures and allowed for the exchange of goods like cannabis. Given that there is archaeological evidence that Kazakhstan had cannabis by 5000 BCE, China by 4000 BCE, and Mesopotamia by 3000 BCE, it is highly likely that cannabis plants or seeds were among the various goods traded along these ancient routes. Any of these regions could have easily included cannabis in their exchanges alongside other valuable commodities like spices, textiles, and precious metals. As ancient Egyptian trade networks expanded and became more sophisticated, the exchange of such botanical resources not only facilitated economic interactions, but also enabled the spread of agricultural knowledge and medicinal practices across these civilizations. Additionally, Egypt's close interactions with Nubia, in what is now modern-day Sudan, provided another conduit for introducing cannabis. Nubian trade networks, which brought goods from sub-Saharan Africa, exchanged items like beer, incense, gold, and ivory. There are also theories that migrating people were the first to introduce cannabis to ancient Egypt. Nomadic tribes and migrating peoples often carried plants and seeds with them. As these groups moved through regions where cannabis was native or cultivated, they could have brought it to Egypt. Finally, intermarriage and cultural assimilation played a significant role as well. The ancient world was characterized by a high degree of cultural intermingling. Marriages between different groups and the blending of various cultural practices could have facilitated the introduction of cannabis to Egypt. Now that we know about how the cannabis plant made its way to Egypt, let's move on to discussing the important cannabis played in the daily life of ancient Egyptians. Hieroglyphs. The ancient Egyptians had a rich tradition of documenting their knowledge and daily life through hieroglyphs. The hieroglyphic system included symbols representing sounds, words, and concepts, and it played a crucial role in preserving the culture and knowledge of ancient Egypt. The hieroglyphic writing system was used primarily for formal inscriptions on monuments and in religious texts. However, they also employed more practical and everyday materials, such as papyrus. Papyrus was a crucial medium for recording and preserving information. Among the most famous hieroglyphic texts found on papyrus are some of the oldest medical treatises known to man. So these documents reveal the advanced medical knowledge and practices of the ancient Egyptians, including their use of medicinal plants like cannabis. Here are some examples. The Ebers Papyrus stands as one of the oldest and most comprehensive medical texts from ancient Egypt, dating back to around 1600 BCE. This invaluable document encompasses a vast array of medical knowledge, detailing treatments for numerous ailments that afflicted the ancient Egyptians. Within the Ebers Papyrus, cannabis is referred to as shemshemet and appears multiple times. One notable reference highlights its use in treating inflammation and other conditions. The text provides a recipe for a topical application designed to alleviate pain and inflammation, indicating that cannabis was likely a key ingredient in this ancient remedy. In addition, the Ebers Papyrus also includes a treatment for eye conditions. The cannabis plant is combined with other ingredients to create a remedy for glaucoma and other eye ailments. The preparation involves grinding cannabis into a fine powder and mixing it with celery and honey. This mixture is then applied directly to the eyes to reduce pain and swelling, providing relief for those suffering from these conditions. This remedy showcases the ancient Egyptians' innovative use of cannabis in ophthalmology. They understood the plant's potential to alleviate eye discomfort and incorporated it into their medical practices effectively. The inclusion of cannabis in these ancient medical practices so early on in history underscores the plant's significance in Egyptian medicine. It offers us a fascinating glimpse into how ancient civilizations harnessed the natural world for healing and medicinal purposes. The Ramesseum Papyrus, named after the mortuary temple of Pharaoh Ramesses II, where it was discovered, this papyrus is a medical text dating to around 1700 BC. It contains a variety of medical prescriptions and treatments, giving us a glimpse into the medical practices during the Middle Kingdom. In this text, cannabis is mentioned in the treatment of menstrual pain. The text describes a remedy where cannabis leaf is mixed with honey and applied as a topical ointment to relieve menstrual cramps and discomfort. The preparation involves grinding cannabis flower into a fine powder, then blending it with honey to form a paste. This paste is then applied to the lower abdomen to soothe menstrual pain and reduce inflammation. P. The Berlin Papyrus, also known as Papyrus 3038, dates to around 1300 BC and contains medical prescriptions and treatments. One notable example from this text includes a treatment for inflammation. The papyrus describes a remedy where cannabis is prepared as an infusion, mixed with other herbs such as garlic, coriander, honey, willow, aloe vera, and fenugreek. The solution was then applied to the skin or consumed based the site of the inflammation to reduce the patient's symptoms. In addition, the text describes another treatment process where cannabis is combined with water and herbs to create a remedy aimed at reducing fever and alleviating associated discomfort. The preparation involves boiling cannabis with water and then straining the mixture. The resulting liquid is consumed to help lower body temperature and relieve the symptoms of fever. These remedies showcase the ancient Egyptians' understanding of the medicinal properties of the cannabis plant. They utilized its anti-inflammatory and analgesic effects to treat a range of symptoms, highlighting the plant's significance in their therapeutic practices. The Chester Beatty VI Papyrus, dating back to around 1300 BCE, is another crucial medical document from ancient Egypt. This papyrus is part of a larger collection of texts that offer a detailed look into the medical knowledge and practices of the time. In the Chester Beatty VI Papyrus, Shemshemet is mentioned in several treatments. One notable example includes a remedy for relieving pain. The papyrus details a preparation where cannabis is ground into a paste and applied topically to the affected area to alleviate pain and reduce swelling. In addition to pain relief, the Chester Beatty the Sick papyrus includes a remedy for easing digestive issues using medical cannabis as part of the treatment process. The text describes a preparation where cannabis seeds are mixed with honey and consumed to alleviate symptoms such as stomach pain and indigestion. The use of the medical cannabis for pain relief and gastrointestinal illnesses highlights the ancient Egyptians' comprehensive understanding of the plant's therapeutic potential, applying it to both internal and external ailments. Ramesses II, often referred to as Ramesses the Great, ruled ancient Egypt during the 19th dynasty from 1279 to 1213 BCE. Ramesses II, often regarded as one of the most powerful and celebrated pharaohs of the New Kingdom period, was marked by significant achievements in architecture, military conquest, and cultural development. Ramesses II was known for being a formidable military leader. One of his most famous achievements was the Battle of Kadesh against the Hittites around 1274 BCE. Although the campaign ended in a stalemate, it did end with the first known peace treaty in history between the Egyptians and the Hittites. This treaty underscored Ramesses II's diplomatic acumen and his ability to maintain stability in the region. In addition, hemp products were used for Ramesses II naval fleet. During his reign, Egypt faced threats from sea-based invaders and pirates. By increasing the size of the navy, Ramesses II could better defend the Nile Delta and coastal regions from these threats, ensuring the security of his kingdom. The construction of large ships during his military campaigns likely involved hemp ropes. These ropes would have been crucial for rigging and other maritime purposes. The strength and resistance to rot of hemp fibers made them ideal for use in maritime contexts, including ropes and possibly sails. The expansion of the navy under Ramesses II was not just for military purposes, but also to protect and enhance Egypt's trade routes. The Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea were vital conduits for trade with other civilizations, including the Minoans, Phoenicians, and peoples of the Levant. A strong navy ensured the safe passage of goods and protected Egypt's economic interests. This is important because maintaining stability in his kingdom, Ramesses was able to go on an infrastructure building spree. Ramesses II is known for his ambitious building projects, including the construction of the temples at Abu Simbel, his mortuary temple, the Ramesseum, and additions to the Karnak temple complex. These building projects required massive amounts of natural resources and materials for lifting, transporting, and assembling massive stone blocks, buildings, and statues. One of these critical resources was hemp. Hemp fibers, known for their durability and strength, were employed in making ropes, textiles, and various other materials essential for construction. Cannabis pollen. Pollen analysis has become a valuable tool in archaeology for understanding ancient plant use and cultivation. Also known as palynology, this scientific technique studies pollen grains and other spores, particularly those that are preserved in sedimentary deposits. By examining microscopic pollen grains and spores, scientists are able to gather information about past vegetation and climates. These tiny particles are incredibly durable and can be preserved in various sediments for thousands to millions of years. Scientists are able to do this because each type of plant produces pollen grains with unique shapes and surface patterns, allowing for identification to the genus or species level. In the context of ancient Egypt, pollen analysis has revealed the presence of cannabis in ancient human habitations, artifacts, and burial sites, suggesting not only cultivation occurred, but its use was quite prevalent in the region. Thebes, known to the ancient Egyptians as Wasit, was one of the most important cities in ancient Egypt. Located on the east bank of the Nile, in what is now modern-day Luxor, Thebes served as a major political, religious, and cultural center, especially during the Middle and New Kingdoms. Thebes has been a significant site for archaeobotanical studies. pollen analysis at Thebes has revealed the presence of cannabis in both residential and ceremonial contexts, suggesting its use in daily life as well as in rituals. The presence of cannabis in burial sites indicates its possible use in funerary practices, either as an offering or for its psychoactive effects during the rituals. Deir el-Medina. Deir el-Medina is an ancient Egyptian village located on the west bank of the Nile, near the Valley of the Kings. It was inhabited by the craftsmen and laborers who worked on the tombs of the pharaohs during the New Kingdom period, particularly from the 18th to the 20th dynasties, circa 1550 to 1080 BCE. The inhabitants of Deir el-Medina were skilled artisans and craftsmen who enjoyed a relatively high standard of living compared to other workers of the time. The village had a well-organized community with houses, workshops, and communal facilities like a well, bakery, and chapel. Cannabis pollen has been found in domestic contexts, suggesting it might have been used by the villagers for medicinal or ritual purposes. As this region was used to house workers building tombs, cannabis being used in this way makes sense. Saqqara is one of the most significant archaeological sites in Egypt, serving as a vast necropolis for the ancient Egyptian capital, Memphis. It is located on the west bank of the Nile, about 30 kilometers south of modern-day Cairo. Saqqara is renowned for its extensive tomb complexes and pyramids, which span a broad period of Egyptian history. Saqqara is best known for the Step Pyramid of Djoser, built during the 3rd dynasty, circa 2670 BCE by the architect Imhotep. This pyramid is the earliest colossal stone building in Egypt and marks a significant development in pyramid construction. Additionally, Saqqara contains numerous mastabas, pyramids, and tombs of pharaohs, nobles, and high officials. These structures are elaborately decorated and provide valuable insights into ancient Egyptian art, religion, and social structure. Saqqara was not only a burial ground, but also a religious center. The numerous temples and chapels dedicated to various deities illustrate its importance in the religious landscape of ancient Egypt. Pollen analysis at the Saqqara necropolis has revealed the presence of cannabis pollen, suggesting that cannabis was present in the area through cultivation or trade. Cannabis pollen has been found in both burial contexts and areas associated with daily activities, indicating its use in multiple aspects of life. Its presence in elite burial sites like Saqqara highlights its value among the upper classes and its role in their cultural and social rituals. Discovering cannabis pollen at Saqqara provides insights into the agricultural practices of the time. It suggests that cannabis was cultivated or gathered, indicating its economic significance. El-Lahun, also known as Kahun, is an ancient Egyptian village located near the modern town of Fayum. It was founded during the Middle Kingdom period around 1840 BCE by Pharaoh Senusret II as part of his pyramid complex. El-Lahun was established as a workers' village for the construction and maintenance of the pyramid complex. The village provides valuable insights into the lives of the workers and the administrative organization of the time. The village is known for its well-planned layout, with streets, houses, and public buildings organized in a grid pattern. The architecture of El-Lahun includes houses of varying sizes, suggesting a social hierarchy among the inhabitants. The discovery of cannabis pollen samples were collected from various sediment layers within the site, particularly from domestic areas and storage pits. The presence of cannabis pollen in El-Lahun indicates its potential use or cultivation in the area. The discovery in domestic contexts suggests that cannabis could have been part of the local flora, possibly used for medicinal, textile, or ritualistic purposes. Furthermore, El-Lahun has yielded significant medical texts, including the Kahun Gynecological Papyrus, one of the oldest known medical documents, which offers insights into ancient Egyptian medical practices. As we wrap up our exploration of cannabis in ancient Egypt, we see how this remarkable plant was interwoven with the daily lives, health practices, and monumental achievements of one of history's most fascinating civilizations. Thank you for joining us on this historical adventure. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating insights into ancient civilizations. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below with your thoughts on this video and let us know what topics you'd like us to explore in the future. Your suggestions help us bring you the content you love. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand our present. Thanks again, and until next time, stay curious.